grab a catalog.
Face value?
No. These aren't face value. No, they're worth quite more than face value. Yeah, just a U.S. specialist.
I see. The other one, I guess. I have another one.
Do you?
But I didn't think comparatives were worth it.
Usually they're not. When you're talking about 1930 plus. But, you know, this stuff is not face value. This, you know, we actually sell sheets like this for face value, or to just straight retail. But when you're talking about the early commemoratives, the white plain sheet, you know, this set does all right. But the earliest commemoratives, the Columbians and the Trans-Mississippi, Pan American Expo, Louisiana Purchase, Jamestown Expo. I mean, these collections, they can add up to some significant value. So $245, just for an example, it looks like someone's into the back of it and it's kind of crossed through to the front. So something like this would need to be sent out for a certificate because the difference between mint no gum and used is massive. You know, you can be talking $1,000 difference. A used $5 Columbian is $1,200 catalog value. Now, it's decently centered, but this could make, 40%, 50%. If it wasn't marked like this on the back. If this comes back, no gum, it's still same catalog value, but it's it's more significant. The $2 here, it could be reperfed at the top and on the left-hand side, but with original gum, it's $1,100 catalog value. This is like a $600-700 stamp.
Really?
So what happened to you?
$1 Columbian. These mounts are great. These mounts not so much, because it's not only is it difficult to pull these out, but it's even more difficult to put them back in. So I'm not going to fiddle with this right here because I don't want to damage the stamp. But I'm going to fiddle with it. It looks like it has gum, but I'm not going
Gum means it's not been used, would you say?
Yes, for the optics. So they issued these stamps and they put self-adhesive on the back. And in order to adhere them to the envelopes and for people to mail them, they wet the adhesive or lift the stamp and just stick it. Yeah. But oftentimes with the Columbian issues, the gum people felt was detrimental to the stamps. People would often wash the gum off the Columbian issues so that it didn't deteriorate the stamp or change the appearance of the front, because collecting habits have changed since these were issued. People used to throw mounts on these, wash the gum off, and just look at the front of the stamp. Now people care so much more about the whole stamp in question. Is the centering? Is this original gum? Stuff like that. So I'm not going to fiddle with these too much because they're in these other mounts. Over time, you really want to kind of, a professional will take these out of these mounts, kind of cut the mounts open and put them in something different, because over time this is going to affect, it can shrink if you add these to it. It's really going to damage the stamp, and put them in here too. These are the better mounts. It's a significant collection. I'm not going to pull this out, but just under close inspection here, it does look like that could be a bluish paper. So you see how this paper is a lot whiter than that paper? I'm not entirely sure why they call it bluish paper, because the paper is actually a little gray. It's more of like a grayish paper. But it was a special experiment with printing. So I'm not going to fiddle with those a bit much, but the collection does definitely have some significance in the beginning. This is a $3 Columbian here. It does look like this actually right there has a tear. Looks like the coin has actually been completely torn off and repaired. And then these ones have been canceled. So this is the kind of stamp we'd leave in a collection. It's not kind of, the damage is so extreme. This $2 Columbian is actually quite nice. In the weeds a bit, it does look like it's been reperfed at the top on the left-hand side, but in there, but this would also be sent out for a certificate to prove that this is original value on the stamp. The other album that you didn't bring here today,
Lighter than the last date of this one.
okay, so that one I wouldn't worry
So
about.
it starts in like 65.
Okay, that one I wouldn't worry about too much. It's going to run more into this kind of scenario where it's more just postage. Usually, after those years, we start counting stamps to sell them at face value. But this album does have significance. A couple of these items I would recommend to send out for certificates. But other than that, the album can kind of be sold as it's this white plain sheet. I need to check to see if it's hinged or never hinged, but these used to go for a lot more than what they're going for now.
These are the early
Yes, the early
ones, the work
commemorative.
yeah.
So these two books, they don't have too much value. This is the book. This book you could be talking about, $2,000-3,000 market value. This is just postage. We got to count the stamps in here, and then these really maybe $50. But the significance is in this album here.
What about the one that's 1894? I don't know which book that's in.
It's probably this modern postage stamp album. So this was a little bit more worldwide.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah.
These are mostly canceled.
Yes.
So I assume canceled ones aren't worth very much.
That's not always the case. Yeah, I mean, in certain countries, Italy, Germany, the canceled ones can actually be worth more. Yeah, so the inflation era and stuff, but the majority of the material in here that I'm seeing is very, very common material. So this album is not something that I worry too much about.
I'm tired of having all this stuff in that.
Oh, the Lundy Islands. No, unfortunately not. It's a nice story. They were issued with these little stories. The guy just declared himself king and everything like that. But they're not really worth anything.
So maybe it's this one.
Yeah, that's a very common.
It is common.
Yeah, it's a common
So it's
stamp.
not worth much.
So this book is. Honestly. Well, so I'd never throw anything away. But what you can do, I know. But what you can do is donate it to the museum, and they repurpose it and give it to children for them to learn, and actually donate it to the Boy Scouts and for them to earn their stamp collecting merit badges. I would never suggest throwing any stamps away because they can always be repurposed. It's not always the case that people don't throw stamps away. People do often see stamp collection, and say that what are the value, and they kind of just assume they're it's either one end or the other. They either assume it's incredibly valuable or no value at all. And oftentimes it can be one or the other. This does have significant value. These two. That looks like Cuba.
Are there any particular stamps that are worth it? Very few, the ones you've been looking for in the collection?
It's so difficult to kind of give a straight answer to that. It's just studying this book. It's so difficult to memorize absolutely everything, but we do our best. No one can be an expert at everything.
And what's this catalog?
Scott catalog. So this is the 2022 version. Over there, there's something called the Scott Classics, which is essentially just the entire world. This is just United States. You see how thick this is. The one for the world only does 1840 to like 1940, I believe, and it covers it very, very lightly. This is a specialized catalog. So this does all of the U.S. and it even goes into, booklet paintings, periodicals, ducks, stuff like that. And really specialized material. This is kind of like the Bible for stamps, for identifying stamps. And then it gets much more specialized than this, if you want to study Washington Franklin's or the 1857s and 51s. Yeah.
So the ones that are worth something, what do I do with them?
So there's essentially a number of different ways that it can be handled. It can be kept in the family. It can be donated to the museum for a tax write-off. We can purchase the collection outright, or we can sell it for you on consignment.
Thank you.
This is, if you say there's more albums, everything like that, we want to take a look at everything to see if we can give you the best offer for everything, rather than just purchasing a piece of it now and then a piece of it later. That really devalues the collection in its entirety, because you need to look at the comprehensive, almost like a story of the collection. Makes it a bit more valuable. So I can give you my card, and then you take a little while to think about it, and you can contact us next week or the week after at your convenience, and we can kind of take it from there. Where did you travel from today?
I'm from
Marblehead. Okay, lovely area. I always love driving down to there.
So we're going to Maine tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'll be back.
Yeah, at your
Where are you?
convenience.
Are you in this area?
We're in Pittsfield, New Hampshire, but I do come down to the museum here about 1 to 2 times a month. Just to meet with people and to speak with the officials at the museum. So this is definitely something that we'd be able to help with.
I mean, I just like it out of my house.
Yeah, it's a sentiment that most people feel.
I mean, unless you're a stamp collector. As a kid, I did a little bit. Not doing that at this point in my life.
Well, I often say to people who are looking to sell or consign their collections, is there any piece, if they've inherited a collection, that they'd just like to keep? There's a collection that we got a little while ago from a woman in Ohio, and a really nice collection, but after reminding her that these collections are a piece of not only U.S. history, but your history, because it was inherited. She liked that idea so much she decided to take a stamp out and just frame it and put it on the wall as a remembrance to her grandfather who had given her the collection. So I always suggest, before you sell anything, before you donate anything, before you consign anything, if there's something that strikes you that has in the collection has sentimental value, to just pull it out and keep it.
Yeah, one stamp isn't going to make a big difference.
No, it's not. It's really not. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.